Have you not listened to your elders, my friend?
I've listened to the elder, but I don't listen to.
Okay, you have.
Welcome to Right Between the Eyes podcast, a KISS podcast with 3 generations of KISS fans telling you why we love it loud.
We're here for the fans.
You'll hear
one. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Right Between the Eyes podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Rob Myers, telling you why we love it loud. Normally, I say this is 3 generations of KISS fans, but as you can see on the screen, it's just 2 dudes hanging out because I don't think we've really fit. There's 2 generations right here. Like I said, I'm one of your hosts, Rob Myers, and welcome to RBTE V4. So this is a video in the series. The YouTube channel we're kind of using, or I'm using at the moment, is a placeholder for the audio stuff. This was going to be a Rosemont recording episode, but we've had to pause that again for another week, but we will do that with everybody. So again, my good friend Brant here from In My Head. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm awesome, man. I'm excited about our topic we have tonight, and I'm always excited to talk KISS, and it's always fun hanging out with you two, and you too. I mean, you as well, not you two that you're 2 over there. But it's always an honor to be on you guys' channel, and it's always awesome to have you on mine. So I'm excited about tonight's topic.
Oh yeah. And we've been doing a lot of YouTube stuff. I know that you've got something in the can, and we had done a round table 5 days prior. So at the time of this recording, I think the Rosemont thing will hopefully already be recorded. But before we get through that, I'm getting used to doing YouTube and audio. So this is only YouTube exclusive, which is why the V is here. I'll put up our social medias on here, but I'll read through ours real quick. You can find us at Twitter at RBTE podcast. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/Right Between the Eyes podcast. We're on Instagram. You can email at rightbetweentheeyespodcast@gmail.com. And this is where I would say YouTube, but you're already watching here. And then if you check out our virtualmerchbooths.com/RBTE podcast, you can get a hold of all of our latest swag, which I am currently not wearing any on this video. So, Brant,
bad podcaster.
I should have the hat just sitting somewhere here off to the side as I close my my windows down.
Yeah.
Why don't you let the people know? Well, I'll do like, you haven't released your video yet at the time, but you did this really cool thing of like, all right, tell everybody where you're at, and we won't do it for later. And then we still did it for later. So I thought that's pretty cool. So I'm just going to steal that. Where can people find you to check out your wonderful channel?
Well, you never know who watches all the way through, you know, so get them at the beginning.
That's right.
So, yeah, you can find me on YouTube at In My Head channel. You can search that. You can also find me at Instagram and Twitter. Just search In My Head channel. Or you can usually find me through Rob or other podcasts that I do stuff with, like Right Between the Eyes or KISS Army Things or whatever. So if you find those guys, you might find me too.
That's right. And lately we were becoming fast YouTube friends of going, oh, hey, this one thing we weren't going to do isn't going to happen. So let's just record and do something. So we've been bouncing back and forth through each other's channels, which is really pretty cool. Any chance you get to talk about KISS is always a good day in my book. So
exactly.
So we were doing the Road to Rosemont, which, you know, it's going to be Brant's channel, In My Head, Xander and Jeb from KISS Army Things. And there might be some other people that may filter into this. We'll see as we get further down the road. And so when the Rosemont recording didn't happen tonight, you know, Brant and I were kind of spitballing. And this is kind of like, we were talking about maybe like doing something like road trip to pick a playlist. And we love the 9 here. And then just thinking about, you know, we're going to go to a KISS show. What songs are we going to hear? Brant had this really cool idea. What would shock the fans of songs that, you know, we're not going to say, oh, they're going to play Boomerang from, you know, hits, but what songs have they previously played in their live shows that we get to the US dates in the end of the road, and every night they're going to pull out a different song or the set list for the 50th anniversary for the US fans. Paul's like, okay, we're going to change the set list up. We're not going to play anything from the Elder because we haven't officially played it live other than a KISS cruise, but we may play something from Look It Up we haven't played since 1983 or the last time during the Hot in the Shade tour, you know, Fits Like a Glove, something like that. So that was a really cool idea to look back through set lists of old and go, man, what was something that they used to play that they don't play anymore, or that they started playing at the end of the road and by the fifth show they dropped those songs. So we're picking the 9, and this is where we're going to pause, because in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the 9. You may only choose 9 songs to move forward. No more, no less. The 9 is here.
There's the 9. So Brant and I each are picking 9 songs that if we're at the arena in Rosemont, we're all looking at each other and going, holy crap, I can't believe they finally dusted that off. Again, nothing that they've ever not played. So me going, oh, they're going to play Jungle. They've never played it. It has to physically have been in a Kiss show.
Just
even
a boy.
Something like Just a Boy, yeah. Something in Fair Game, which I don't think it's on either of our lists, but Secretly Cruel that Gene sang for like 3 shows on the Asylum tour, that's Fair Game. But I think we're probably both of us picking songs that saw some length in some tours somewhere. So that's my little blathering here for the moment. I kind of want to get your feedback on like, what was your thought process in picking things? Did you go to a certain area, or did you open up the whole discography of playable songs and go, oh, that's a cool one?
Well, we were talking and you sent me that statistics link from Setlist FM, and I started looking at that and I was like, my gosh, have they played Rock and Roll All Night and Detroit Rock City and Love Gun at every show ever since? Because those songs were so high, up in the list. But I kind of scrolled down and I tried to stay away from obscure songs and songs that I would love to hear, but never, they might have had 4 plays or even 50 plays. I mean, 50 plays of a song throughout Kiss's career, when some of the top songs have 2,000. They've got over 2,000 gigs, and songs that they played maybe 50 times out of that were songs that maybe they played on a tour and then part of a tour, and then they never played them again. So I tried to stay away from those. I tried to work towards songs that I felt like that they would play, that they played quite a bit, and songs that I would really enjoy if they did play them. And to take it a step further, we were talking before recording, I actually took the current set list of 20-something songs, and I took the set list and I was like, I would change this song out with this song, and I might even move this song I'd keep this song in the set, but maybe move it down to here. So I went a little OCD with it, but
that was my intention, and work got in the way. So I have little notes of like, maybe this song X should go here, but that's going to make that move. But I didn't do the whole, I have a blank sheet of paper at work with 20 some songs written and my 9 in there. And I didn't get it filled out. So I'm going to lean on Brant and go, oh yeah, I like that idea. I'm going to steal that.
I didn't do it too much, but I did do it.
Cool. So this is just a fun episode. We're trying to put out some more YouTube content, and Nick and Nico were like, go for it, get something on the books. So here we are, the 9 Kiss songs that would surprise you that they've played in the past that show up on the End of the Road tour. So I'm gonna let our guest go first. Now is yours in any order? Like, number 9 is 9 for a reason and 1 is 1 for a reason. Or are they just 9 songs?
They're just 9 songs. I can start at the top of my set list and just kind of go down through the set list and be like, okay, first off, I would move this song and change this song out with this,
Yeah.
So I can do that.
Yep.
All right. All right. So my number 9 is actually the first song in the set list. Right now they're doing Detroit Rock City as the opener. What I would do is I would go old school and I would move Detroit Rock City to the encore section. So I would keep Detroit Rock City, but move it. So if I'm keeping one and moving it and then adding one in its place, that means I'm going to have to cut one somewhere later on without adding. And I don't know if that broke a rule, Rob, but I did it. So
rules are made to be broken here.
So, like I said, it goes a little beyond just listing 9 songs I would like to hear. But like I said, that's me. And I had fun with this. So, but But I would, right out the gate, I would move Detroit Rock City to the first song of the encore, and I would open the show with "I Stole Your Love."
Thank you. That is also that's exact same thing I was going to do. Nico right now is saying that's it. I'm good. After the first song, I can die a Happy Kiss fan. Yeah, that is a song that needs to be there. I'm
Scream
really
77, 78.
Oh, yeah.
Them opening with that song.
Especially coming down off the pods like they are,
Mhm.
would be kind of reminiscent of them coming down off the ladders, you know.
Could you imagine? All right, Rosemont, you want the best, you got the best, the hottest band in the world, Kiss. And instead of da-na-na-na-na, here, da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, I will lose my crap.
And then when that explosion goes off, that's when the kabuki curtain drops.
Yeah.
Seeing that big fireball, people's jaws would be on the floor.
They would. And I know they're not going to cut Detroit Rock City. I know that they would have just moved it further down. Yeah. And that makes sense to me. And it's very plausible. I mean, it's probably not probable, but it is plausible that could happen.
Yeah, I was just
Probably
listening to a bootleg from one of the Kiss cruises on their Sail Away shows when they were in the Creatures outfit. And their opening song of the Sail Away set was I Stole Your Love. And I was on the drive home and I was like, man, could you just imagine that? Again, you know, there may be one or two on mine that's like, okay, Rob, they did play it, but that is a legitimate, you know, we were picking songs they should do on the end of the road. I think not even with much twisting of Paul, I think playing a classic 70s song, he would go, oh yeah, I can see why you picked that. It's not like we're asking for all night, or he's like, yeah, we only played it, like you said, 12 times or whatever. But I Stole Your Love, as classic as that is, and he's got the opening riff of the song. Yeah.
And I even kind of kept in the back of my brain of, could Paul do these songs today and sound good? Like, is this a song that I know that he would try to reach and do, or would he not want to do it because he felt like he was reaching too far? I even kind of took that into consideration.
I think he could do this one. If he stays down in the register a little bit and let Eric and Gene too take some of those higher parts, I think it would work.
Yep.
Well, since that's also my one, I'm going to kick it right back over to you because everything you just said, I'm nodding. So our first ones were really pretty good. So fired up with your second pick.
Okay, so what I would do is I would set song number 2, Deuce. I would leave on the set. I would leave Deuce where it is. I would leave Shout It Out Loud where it is, although I'm used to it being towards the end because of Kiss Alive 2. I'm used to it being more towards the end. But now here is where I'm going to get controversial because I love this song. But I would cut War Machine and replace it with Watching You.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that coming, but yeah.
Plausible. Gene can still sing Watching You.
Right. And Gene has done it recently on his $5,000 plate, dinner thing that he had or whatever. There's some songs in his solo set where I'm like, why aren't you playing that in the band? But yeah, Watching You would be really good. I've always thought like War Machine is it's a great song, but I was always surprised how long it stayed around. Like there was a tour that maybe it wasn't kind of there, but then once it came back, it never really left. And I was like, it's a good song. It always just surprised me that it stayed and had the length that it did.
Yeah.
War
Machine's one of those songs. I like it better on the album than I do live, really. It's kind of like I Love It Loud. I love It Loud, but I like it better on Creatures than I do when they do it live. It just doesn't seem to, at least from recordings I've heard, and it does. And I've been not being a concert in a long time, so I mean, I could be wrong seeing it on the end of the road. I might be, War Machine's awesome, but I just think, I had to cut songs, so I was like, let's try cutting a Gene song and replacing it with a Gene song, and kind of keep it in the same vein. Watching You's War Machine's kind of, guttural, and Watching You's kind of guttural, so it was like a comparable replacement.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to stick with the Gene song. I've been enamoring for this one. I've been saying this doesn't move the needle much farther, but currently in the set list, Gene has no songs past 1982, which is really kind of baffling. I know through the 80s, But once you hit like Revenge and stuff like that, there's some strong Gene songs. But this isn't from Revenge. 1983's Lick It Up, Fits Like a Glove was like a staple for Gene. It was in every show,
Good
every
song.
tour, all the way through Hot in the Shade. And my pick to, they're not doing it much anymore. You can't get rid of Dr. Love. I'm trying to think. Oh, it was War Machine. War Machine was that song where I was like, I think you could do Fits Like a Glove. I know they've got that cool animation for War Machine, but that's one of those. Let's put a pause on it. We're only going up 1 year, and it gives Gene a non-makeup song that, I mean, that was almost his deuce in the 80s, that you were guaranteed he was playing Fits Like a Glove at some point during the show. So that's my second one. And I've kind of like loosely like War Machine. I was thinking there was another one on the top of my tongue, but I can't quite think of it. So yeah, that's my two.
All right. Well, we're going to be coming back to you real quick because the next set in the song list is Heaven's on Fire at 5. And then number 6 would be I Love It Loud. And I'm saying another controversial thing, cut I Love It Loud and replace I Love It Loud with Fits Like a Glove.
Oh, nice.
So we both chose Fits Like a Glove as our... we were in each other's heads today.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. I'm gonna make a little star on a couple to see how. I'm curious to see how many that we're gonna get, knowing that we're pulling from the same pool. There was a couple I went a little more shallower, and you went a little bit deeper. So that's cool. This is one I really toyed with this one. I think it's because the three of us really liked this song quite a bit when we reviewed the album. And I know only 2 songs from this album went past Hot in the Shade, but I've got a soft spot for Rise to It. I really think it would work in the show. And the song that I want to replace it out of is Do Your Psycho Circus, let Eric do the drum solo, and just stop with 100,000 Years. We don't need you to swing the microphone around and wrap it around your neck. Like, give us a song, because they used to do 100,000 Years, and Psycho Circus is almost 100% complete. That little drum breakdown is where the solo goes, but 100,000 Years gets truncated all the way to Do You Feel All Right? I'm like, put a song in there, put something back in from the late 80s, and I think Rise to It would just, you do the drum solo, Eric Singer, ladies and gentlemen, and then bam, you can rip right into Rise to It. I think it's got a catchy song. I might be pulling some threads here with this one, but I think it would be a fun song to hear live. And that one I think would be a really surprise for people to go, oh, holy crap, they're playing Rise to It. Again, it wasn't overly popular, but still. I'm trying to make a case here, and Brant's giving me a look of like, it ain't happening, dude. I Still Your Love, if It's Like a Glove, is going to come first.
I mean, I don't think that would happen. I would like it if it did, because I like that song too. And 100,000 Years, I like the song on the album, but I don't like the whole thing that Paul does with the crowd and the microphone stand, the microphone wire and stuff. I don't really care for that. So, I would like if they pulled 100,000 Years and put something in its place, and Rise to It would be good. It's not one I picked, but it'd be good. Okay.
All right. So that's my third. Where are you?
Okay. So that takes me down to my next one. The next one on the set list is they've got Say Yeah at number 7. And hopefully by the time this video releases, everybody will have already seen the video that we did where we compiled songs from Monster and Sonic Boom, and we made an album called Sonic Monster. And we made what I think is a pretty good double album. If you've not seen that video, it is probably on my channel. You can go check it out. But Say Yeah was one of those songs that I wasn't a big fan of it to begin with, and it's kind of grown on me. And we even mentioned in that video that I was talking about how I'm looking forward to Say Yeah, because I want to be in that crowd that when he goes, "Let me hear you say yeah," and be
Yeah.
able to sing that yeah back. But if they replaced it with this song, you talk about your song as a stretch, rise to it. I'm hold my beer, hold my knocking my microphone over, hold my bottled water.
Okay.
Replace say yeah, and they've played this song and quite a bit. Probably maybe not so much in a while, but replace say yeah with got to choose.
Dude, I'll hold your 2 water bottles. Yeah. Got to choose for say yeah. That's interesting. I like the choice. It's bold. It's bold. I like it. And that's one of those that
They play it sometimes during the sound check.
sound check. That I was going to say. That's
They
one,
do play it.
yes. And they have played it. It may not be at every sound check, but a good majority of them, I think they could take that song and go right to stage with it.
I think so too.
I like it. All right. We're going to move to my 4th. And this, you don't have to change any of the graphics other than when Gene's face appears and says, "I am the Lord of the Wasteland." You'd have to take that out. But all the other demons and fire and stuff like that, it worked in 2004 when they did it on Rock the Nation tour. It is a newer modern day song for Gene, and it gives him something to be a little unholy about. He could still go to the rafters. He did the blood and the whole thing. That's where I'm surprised Gene didn't go, "I want something from Revenge on this tour. We need to represent it." Gene had a big hit in comparative for everything that Gene had done through the 80s and up to the 90s, where that was the leadoff single, and people were like, "Holy crap, Gene's back." It pains me to be at the show and the only revenge that you're going to get is when people are leaving the arena and God Gave Rock and Roll to You plays.
Right.
So yeah, Unholy, swap that out for God of Thunder, and you don't have to do anything graphic wise. Yeah, the timing may have to go this, that, or the other, but it worked in 2004, and I think Gene could pull it off again.
Yeah, man, that is good. You know, I toyed around with that idea, and I actually toyed around with that same swap, and I was like, nah, Gene's done God of Thunder in that for so long. I don't think he's going to make that switch, but it would be bad if he did. I mean, I would love that. I'd love if we got vroom, vroom, vroom. I'd love, you know, that opening line. I would love that because I love Revenge, and it's one of my favorite songs off that album. So I really, really hit this part of the set list really hard with it come to changing things out and swapping things out. It's just because it ain't that I don't love these songs that's right in this area. Because I mean, if you notice, I've changed out track 6 or song 6, changed out song 7, and I'm going to continue to change. Even though I love the next song in the set list, which is Cold Gin. That's one of my favorite songs. I just feel like it's a little played out at this point live. So let's kick it back old school and let's change out Cold Gin with Hotter Than Hell, which they also do during sound check.
Yes. That was on my short list. I have 11 songs written off to the side, and I have Hotter Than Hell written there. Again, you know, even with just the motif of the logo and the t-shirts, there's all this fire and all this stuff going on. It's just a classic song. And I would love to have Eric have that big, huge gong that he had back in 92 behind him where he could just crack the, seeing a gong on a Kiss stage would be great again, but good pull.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of Mr. Singer, and this is not a rip on Paul, but I do think Paul, they should have organically built some extra lead vocals from other people in the band to give Paul just a little bit of a break. Like, you know, your 100,000 Years or Shout It Out Loud. They wouldn't get rid of that one. Even like a Heaven's on Fire, I could see like swapping and moving some of those out. So I don't know where I would put this one, but they did it on the Alive 35 tour. Nothing to lose. You know,
Oh, yeah.
it kind of got a resurgence.
Oh, yeah.
It gives Eric another spot to sing, but it also gives Paul a break because that is usually just Eric and Gene, and then Tommy throws some stuff. So Paul can be wandering around, shaking his butt and doing whatever he's doing, and gives him a chance just to go. I would probably have that earlier into the set, probably somewhere after Shout It Out Loud before they hit that 80s span, so you get more of the classic Kiss songs. But yeah, I think Nothing to Lose probably needs to come back in the set somewhere.
I actually considered that song too. So next in the set list currently is Lick It Up. So I'm not the biggest fan of the song Lick It Up. I like it actually better live than I do on the album. I feel it's very sterile on the album. It's very good. And I love the way they just started off with Don't Wanna Wait Till You Know Me Better. And they hit, and it's faster than it is on the album. They do a little bit of different stuff live.
They'll throw a little bit of Who in there somewhere. Right. Yep.
But still, I know it's a big part of their show, and they're probably not going to cut it. And it's one of their big hits from the 80s. It's one of their things that they're known from. So this is really stretching. But I'm just, I'm an old school fan. So, I'd cut Cold Gin to have Hotter Than Hell. So I got to cut Lick It Up to have Firehouse. So I would cut Lick It Up and have Firehouse.
I'm trying to think if they played Firehouse in the beginning of the tour, like was it in like shows 2, 3, 4, maybe? Bad podcast. I didn't have my notes.
You can throw in an edit.
Yeah, I'll edit somewhere. Right here below the screen, probably right in front of Rob's face. It's gonna say, "Idiot, Rob." They did play Firehouse on November 4th, 2019, which is funny. The tour.
We
started.
Can't remember everything. So,
right? Yeah. Come on. I like that one. I know that would be right up Nico's. You've mentioned "I Stole Your Love," and you just mentioned Firehouse. There's only one other song to get the Caruso's full blessing, and neither one of us have mentioned it yet. It's not on my list, and they're probably booing me, but I think you may save the day if it's on your list. We'll see. All right, so you're an old school Kiss fan, and of course, I'm sitting in the 80s. So as I was saying that, okay, they're probably not going to pull Rise to It out, but this song was in the beginning of the tour. It probably lasted 5, 6 shows, maybe. Also from Hot in the Shade, Hide Your Heart. That was a big single.
Good one.
And it's got a great sing-along chorus, the whole if they're doing hey, yeah.
Hey, yep.
I think it would be cool. And I could almost see the visuals now that they've added. They could probably have images of a streetcar and, West Side. That probably would have West Side Story playing in the background, but, just something in there, just to kind of accentuate that. Or the stage looks like you're in a car or something like that, or you're in the streets. Right. So, yeah, I was shocked that Hide Your Heart didn't make it longer into the set. So that's one I've never heard Kiss do it live. The closest I've got is Paul Stanley's Live to Win tour. I got to hear him do it there. So I'm kind of sort of counting that off my list. But Hide Your Heart, that's my number 6.
That's probably one that Paul was looking at the crowd and saw people heading towards the bathrooms or the concession stand, and he's like, "Man, we got to cut this. It's we got to replace it with something." Because I know he mentions that, and I'm pretty sure people, they'll say something. If they say it, there's a good chance they do it.
Yeah,
because he says, we could play a new song or whatever, and you got everybody going to go get him a beer or go to the bathroom. So he watches. So if you playing a song and you see droves of ants running up the steps, and that song's not being very, very well received. So, and you have an obligation to give the fans, the general populace of the fans, what they want for their money. It may not. You may have a couple guys down in the front losing their minds because Hide Your Heart's being played, but.
Right.
If he sees X amount of people heading towards the bathroom or to the concession stand to grab him a beer, then he's gonna want to cut. He's gonna have a tendency to want to cut that song.
I mean, that's a show right there for somebody to do. Us Kiss fans, like, why aren't they doing this? Why aren't they doing that? Being in Columbus for Sonic Temple and having these 2 girls and a couple guys off to the side, asking like organic questions like, oh, Kiss is a really cool old band. How long have you seen them? But as soon as they started playing songs like Heaven's on Fire, I Was Made for Loving You, they're singing at the top of their lungs. They played all of the hits where, us diehards like, they should be playing something from the Elder. I can understand why Paul is going, I'm going to appease 400 people in this arena very well, but the other 12,000 that are here don't know that song. And sometimes that's a hard thing for Kiss fans to grasp.
It really is. And it's something that us as long-term Kiss fans, it's almost like it is our rite of passage carrying the torch to be like, accept that and that it's okay.
Yeah.
We're never going to get our back, what we call what I want to do an episode someday. Don't steal it from us, anybody, but I want to do an episode someday of the bathroom list. Like, what is a set list that every casual Kiss fan would not know any song off of? If they played these 9 songs, what are these 9 songs? And I'm sure we could pick more.
Oh,
but
yeah.
What is this set
Your
list?
opening song is Detroit and your closing song is Rock and Roll All Night. And that's the only 2 songs the crowd knows.
Right. And everything else is like, track number 2, set list song number 2, Odyssey. Or even if it was The Oath, a song that rocks, the casual Kiss fan does not know that song.
We're gonna get off a little tangent. I love having Kiss discussions with you. A tangent is song like you said, but songs that were released had videos for that. If I played All Night for somebody, they would probably go, "That's Kiss." I would go, "Yes." It was on Dial MTV. It was their most requested video. And yet people don't know that song. And it was a song that the band released, promoted, and went nowhere.
I know.
So,
yeah, I know. And it's a great video too. I love it.
Yeah. All right. What you got for? You're probably at 7 now, I believe.
Yeah. So we're down on the set list. We're about halfway through. We're hitting set list song number 10. And that's Making Love, and I would leave it right where it is. I was very happy to see that song being played. It's not being played with the ferocity and the well, I'm just not going to get into that because this isn't a band that they were 30 years ago, and we can't expect them to be. But right. I'm just happy that the song. That's one thing I'm trying not to be. I'm trying to be that Zen Kiss fan that doesn't, and I'm really bad about it. I'm trying to quit being that Kiss fan that asks for something, and when I get it, I pick it apart and try to find fault with it. I'm trying to not be that person anymore. And so
I've got a soundbite of Nico going, if they just played one song, I think if I could find it, I'll put it in here. And him just going, if they just did like Making Love, I'd be happy with that. And then when it hit the set, Nico was like, that's all they did was Making Love. And I was like, you literally asked for that song. It was so funny.
Yeah. So Making Love's great. Now, here's another controversial one because you said something about, well, you can't lose this song. The next song, Calling Dr. Love.
Oh, Brant doesn't care.
I would cut it. Even though I love Calling Dr. Love.
That's interesting. You cut a Gene song for a Paul song.
Right. Well, the song I'm replacing it with.
Oh,
yeah.
There. See, Gene got mad when I said that.
Gene got mad.
Thunderstorms in Ohio here, folks.
Gene got mad. The God of Thunder. Goodness gracious. I'm sorry, Gene. I'm sorry, Gene. Goodness. Your wife coming to check on you? Like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Dang, I think my dog heard that. Her ears raised up. I think she heard it. No, Making Love is song number 10 on the set. Calling Dr. Love is song number 11. I would cut it, but I would replace it with, and this is a stretch, but I would replace Calling Dr. Love with I'm an Animal.
After the discussion we had last night, I don't know if I would have, or the video that everybody's hopefully seen now on your channel. If you're not, pause and go over there.
Yeah.
as we were going through that album, I remember going, I'm going to be the only one that votes for this song just because I liked it so much in '09. And all of us were like, yeah, yeah. And then listening to your playlist, I was like, that's actually a really good song.
Mm-hmm.
And it fits the Gene personality without it seeming like it's forced. Where Calling Dr. Love fits Gene's personality. That's a good pull. Again, that's a rise to it stretch, but
yeah, it's a rise to it stretch, but they did play it a lot. And the video that Xander shared with us from the Kiss over, what was it? Sonic Boom
Rock
over
Am
Europe.
Ring. Yeah.
Rock Am Ring, Sonic Boom over Europe or whatever. Man, that was a pro shot video, and it was awesome. I listened to it in my car, and goodness gracious, it sounds so good. It's got so much bottom end.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Man, that song is so good. And so I think, I just think Calling Dr. Love, it's been around since the 70s, and let's move the set list up a few years. So I think that'd be a good opportunity to do it and throw in I'm an Animal.
I like it. So where are we at here? So this is one in the same vein of Like an Animal, or I'm an Animal. And I almost put that in there, but this was one off of Monster that I really liked off of Gene's. And I think, if I remember correctly, I think you like this one as well. And there's a cool pro shot of Gene doing this one, Wall of Sound from Monster.
Yes.
I love the drums in that, and I love Gene's tone, and his bass is just so raw and gnarly live, just that thundering bass, where Gene sometimes is a little more in the background. He hears more melodic things, but that is a really, really cool track by Gene. So yeah, I went with Wall of Sound because I want to see Gene have some more modern day stuff past I Love It Loud.
Yeah, exactly. And that's got a cool, I think that has a kind of a rip. I'm going to tell you something. And this is a little tangent, but so I was at work today, and one of my people that work for me on my staff, he'll come in my office sometime when he's on his break or whatever, and he'll sit and we'll talk about music, games, and other stuff. And he's not a Kiss fan. So we're playing my playlist. And I don't know if it was on Wall of Sound. It was a Gene song, though. I can't remember if it was Wall of Sound. And he was in there for a few songs. And he is not a Kiss fan. So he would be somebody that would be a casual Kiss fan. He might know the big ones, but he's over there, and Wall of Sound comes on. And he's over there, that riff, and he's over there just humming like, and then whenever Gene starts singing, it no matter what you got. And he's over there going, he's over there humming. And he sits there for a second. And I'm looking over at him, and he's on his phone, and he's kind of nodding his head and stuff. And he's like, who is that? I said, it's Kiss. He goes, that's Kiss? And I said, yeah. He goes, that's a good song. And I'm like, yeah, they have a lot of them. He goes, I know what you mean. He goes, but that like sounds modern. When did that come out? I'm like 10 years ago. And he's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, it came out in like 2012. And he's like, I was just going to ask you, did they just put out a new album or something? So if they played a song like that, the crowd may not know it, but I think the crowd would get into it just because of the pace of the song, how it's very Zeppelin-ish. It's got a real cool solo. Oh, yeah. And people love Gene. So Gene sings that song really well. He sings it live really good. So I think it's a song that if they tried to pull it off, I think that they wouldn't totally lose the crowd.
I don't think so either. I think they could have some leadway. And even if they did a song, like through the whole tour, we've got 2 spots where we're going to swap out 2 songs every night, or every third show, one of these songs will come in. I think they could slip a song like that if Gene's like, okay, I'm going to take War Machine potentially off the table for this night. We're going to swap a song like that in. Here's where Unholy goes. Here's where, Wall of Sound goes. Here's where Fits Like a Glove goes. That would be fun to go, oh man, they play Fits Like a Glove at your show. Be right. Like, oh, we got Wall of Sound.
We got Wall of Sound. Well, we got I'm an Animal.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that'd be cool. And to be like, oh, well, we got Watching You. And it would make it would honestly, I dare to say it would make people who have the ability want to have tickets to more shows because they would
Yeah.
want to be like, what's the song they're going to throw in tonight that they haven't thrown in so far?
Yeah.
Or they haven't done in a while, but they potentially could do it tonight. And then when that song starts, because some people, they got these set lists memorized. And so it'd be like, oh, wow, this is new. They've not played this in a while. If they threw out Hotter Than Hell, it'd be like, oh, wow, they haven't played this in a while. So
I agree.
I think that'd be real cool. Okay, so we back to me?
Yep.
All right, so so I last said, we'd replace at song number 11 in the set, replace Calling Dr. Love with I'm an Animal. Number 12 is Psycho Circus. I'm going to leave that because I think that's a good part of the show.
Mhm.
I love Psycho Circus, and I think Psycho Circus fits in this set list and this tour really well.
I do too.
So next is here. You're going to love this one. Number 13, 100,000 Years. Cut it and replace it with Parasite.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Could you imagine Psycho Circus? And I said, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
That's something I
gosh.
want. Don't stop every song and have to go, people, da-da-da,
Right.
give us a 2-3
Right.
song where you're just going from one song into the other. You play 3 songs in a row and have the crowd going, holy crap. That
Right.
would be great. Coming out of
Exactly.
Psycho and going into Parasite. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that too. All right. So what about you?
All right. I'm going to also take one of yours. It's a great track. I love it off of Alive 3. I love it off of Alive, Watching You.
Nice.
And in the same placement that you had it. I was grinning from ear to ear going, don't ruin your surprise. Cause yeah, that was a good pull. And it's a song, again, a very plausible song that I think would take little to no effort for them to pull off and sound.
Mhm.
I really wish, okay, if you're not going to do that live, that should be a sound check song.
Yeah.
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 Going blind's fine and all that, but if they pulled Watching You and sound check, you'd have people at sound check going, why is this not in the show?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's show ready worthy. Watching
And
You.
it's not, I don't, like you said, I don't think it's a hard song for them to pull off. One, because it's not a very fast song. It's more of a groove.
Mhm.
And everybody sings together. So you're not just singling out one voice. It's one of those songs that everybody in the band is singing
Mhm.
from beginning to end. And so I think Watching You it'd be an easy ad for them if they wanted to do it.
Oh, I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
All right, where do you? This
All right.
should probably be your last.
All right, yep, we got one song, and I think that I think coming up, what I'm going to do, I think I may piss you off and make you happy all at the same time.
All right, good.
So 14, God of Thunder, I would keep. 15, Love Gun. Paul's not going to ever quit playing that song. So
Yep.
16, I Was Made for Loving You. That's a crowd favorite. I like it too.
Yep.
I will be doing along with everybody. Black Diamond, I love. So we can't get rid of Black Diamond. So
Good.
the encore, we come back for the encore, and we have Detroit Rock City starting the encore up.
Yep.
And then the next track number
Bye, Do You Love Me? Sayonara. Drop your balloons to another song.
Cut Do You Love Me, right? Because
Yep.
Do You Love Me? So it's cut. Because remember, I added a song, so I said I was going to have to cut a song. So cut. And then the next song, Beth, I would replace Beth. Hear me out.
Yeah.
I will replace Beth with Forever, but let Eric sing it.
And just so you see, I'm not lying. My 9, Forever, ? Eric. So I sent everybody that video of Eric during the ESP project where he starts, and it's John
He could
Corabi,
totally
Bruce
do it.
Kulick, and Eric, and they start doing Every Time I Look at You, and then it changes, and Eric's doing Forever. And I went, that's great. It's a Paul written song. So if Paul wants to get, like, I don't want to do Beth because of Peter or whatever, and that may give people that moment to go, I don't want Eric singing Beth, but Paul tips the hat and lets Eric sing Forever. I really think the lighters would start coming up, and Paul could do some of the backing vocals, or maybe Eric does a verse, Paul does a verse, and they do Forever like they did Beth before when they were doing it acoustic. They came out to the front of the stage and Eric stood there and sang Beth. I think they could do that with Forever. I think that would be brilliant, and that would be a jaw drop on there. That is great that you said that.
Eric back behind the drums doing his thing. Or they make it all acoustic. They do it. They do acoustic, and Eric's just standing there, and they've got 4 stools, and you have the guys sitting on the stools, and they're playing all their acoustic stuff, and they do Forever. Everybody knows Forever. It was a big enough hit.
Yes,
that everybody knows Forever. Even if they're not, like, my wife's like what I'd call a casual Kiss fan. She's a very casual Kiss fan. But she loves Forever. She knows Forever. She loves it. They play it on Hair Nation all the time.
All the time. Yep.
So people would know Forever.
And this is no disrespect to Beth. I like hearing Beth, but I don't think anybody would walk away from the last show on the End of the Road tour and go, "Oh, we didn't get to hear Beth." Right. But I think people walk away from the last show going, "I can't believe they played Forever," and that really worked. And
I hadn't heard that song in years.
Yeah.
And they did it acoustic, and
whether Eric sang it or not, I really think they could do it. I really think they could pull that off.
Yeah. So so what's your final one? Was that it?
Yeah. Forever was that one. I had a question mark, almost like, am I going to say this one? Is Brant going to roll his eyes as soon as you said, I'm getting rid of Beth? I was like, I know what he's saying. I know it. I know.
Yep. And I would leave Rock and Roll All Night. Of course, you got to leave Rock and Roll All Night at the end. Yeah. But it was funny because I actually looked back through some of the set lists from the 70s and into the 80s, and Rock and Roll All Night was actually in some weird cases, Rock and Roll All Night, they played it before the encore.
Yeah. That they may end with Lick It Up or Heaven's on Fire.
Lick It Up or Heaven's on Fire or something like that. And that was real big to do during the 80s. A lot of times you would either play your biggest songs at the encore, or you would save your hits for the end. Because a lot of times once you played your hits, if you got that out there, I was going to say another term, but I didn't want to. That's probably not appropriate. But if you put these songs out and satisfied the crowd too early, saying it in a nice way, they might be tempted to beat the crowd and get out.
Yeah, I gotta hear that song.
But if they've not played Lick It Up, they've not played Heaven's on Fire. Yeah, so they stick those at the end, and then you get they come back out and they break into those songs, and you're like, oh yeah, screw going to parking lot early. We can stay here and jam.
I could buy a bootleg shirt later.
Yeah, right.
A cool idea that Nick had that would be really fitting for the last show on December 2nd. And you're going to end with Rock and Roll All Night, but I almost like the idea of do it as the cold close. You come back out and you do Beth, but you actually end it with Black Diamond. Yeah. The last song on the first Kiss album. And for a while, that was their
closer.
That was their closer.
Yeah.
I think that would be really fitting, if they don't change anything, but the December 1st, December 2nd show get some really cool nuggets. Then hopefully there's a pay-per-view and they do a DVD. I don't know if you've noticed on Facebook while they're over in the UK right now.
Yeah, I've been looking at the set list every time.
I've been looking at the set list, but they've been showing some behind the scenes stuff of Paul and Tommy doing their little thing. And there's always a camera guy. Like there's somebody with their cell phone filming, but there's a guy with a camera and a microphone. Like they're filming something. Cause I was like, oh, they're doing it for the Jumbotron up there for sound check. I'm like, no, they haven't started sound check. This is them just noodling. You see Eric talking and stuff. I'm like, what are they filming? And that same camera guy during sound check is up on stage with them. And when Xander and I were in Dayton, there wasn't a camera guy roaming around stage. So they're doing something for their final shows or a commemorative package or something.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's something to get into. I think it's going to be definitely one of our topics we will talk about during the Road to Rosemont.
Oh, yeah.
I think it'd be really cool. I'm looking forward to getting into having some deep discussions on what happens after December 2nd.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to having some deep conversations and some what ifs and things like that when it comes to that.
Yeah,
But I will tell you, I'm excited. I'm excited about even if I get this set list not changed, I'm going to have a great time.
This will be show 5 for me on this tour, I think. And if they don't change anything, I know the show inside and out. The experience is going to be, the soundtrack is playing behind us, and we're all together hanging out before the show, after the show, and after it's over going, oh my gosh, did you see how tall the flames were? But just the experience of talking together. And I think doing this Road to Rosemont that we're getting ready to start doing, that we're really going to have ourselves primed by the time we get to the show.
Yeah.
I think this is going to become something special that we're going to look back at this and go, boy, all of our last Kiss shows were all together in the same place. We all had the same experience. And I can't wait to talk to you, 6 months from now, after the curtain goes and you've had this 20-year gap in your live Kiss experience.
Yeah.
So
first show in 20 years, last show, all in one. First show since 2001-ish and last show. So, and no shows in between. So, and the fourth show to the end, fourth show away from the end.
I think that's cool. If they're gonna, I mean, they could do that stuff in sound check to not, or in a rehearsal room somewhere. But I think as they are starting to gear towards the tail end of the shows and knowing that December's 3 shows, or the New York shows are 3 shows away from after they see us. Maybe I'm wrong. People look at me and say I'm crazy, but I think we might either hear some things, or we're just going to see Kiss really ramping up. Like, man, they're on fire. They're getting themselves prepared for these final 2 shows coming up.
Yeah.
So I think our show is primed for something really cool.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see what or any changes happen to the set list or to the stage when they come back to the States for the final lap.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm very curious to see what's going to happen. And I think this is going to be really cool. It's like by the time we get done with all of this, between what we put on your channel, what goes up on my channel, because I know we're discussing some ideas about part of the Road to Rosemont series, some things that's going to be on my channel, some discussions on my channel, some discussions on Xander's channel.
Right.
And by the time we get done with this, dude, we're going to have our own little, and then the footage that we all record on our own cameras.
Yeah.
While we're there and sound check, and I know me and you'll be at sound check, and my friend Scott will be with me, and then we will we'll have our footage that we make of be hanging out together, talking, just conversing. We're going to have so much footage. It's almost like we're going to have to maybe make some like online repository of like a OneDrive or something, and kind of deposit all this stuff in so we can all just kind of pull from it and just make this big. I think it'd be really cool if we make this big like documentary type thing that we like put in parts, like part 1 on one channel, part 2 on the other channel, part 3 on the other channel. And that way you've got to go around to all 3 channels to see it in its entirety. I think that'd be really cool.
That'd be really cool, because that would be a road for everyone else. Nothing would be like seeing the final show in New York, but I kind of like the idea that this is our thing. That we're doing. It's going to be special to us, and I know it's going to be really special to Nick and Nico. It's in their backyard, and the first Kiss concert Nick ever saw was in the Rosemont. It was called the Rosemont Horizon on the reunion tour. So that he's going to begin and end his Kiss concert days in the very same arena. I think that's going to be a really cool thing. So I won't say it on camera, but I have an idea of thinking, what can we do to film something? I have a cool idea, but I'll save it for the Rosemont.
Okay.
So
sounds good. Sounds
Well,
good.
I think this is where we'll end this episode. Nice, tight, and needy. Sometimes with the 9, you get in, get out, and this gives us a little buffer before we get into Rosemont. So Rosemont is going to, at least on RBTE side of it, it's going to be both audio and visual. So if you're liking seeing stuff on YouTube, it's definitely going to be on YouTube. But on the audio side, I get to play with the audio a little bit. If we want to drop in some song samples, YouTube is like, no, don't do that.
No, definitely don't.
So the guy over here, or actually over there,
The guy sitting here with 2 copyright strikes with 60 days to go.
yeah,
Don't do that.
yeah.
Don't do any illegal. Don't put in any illegally uploaded video either. Ooh, you'll definitely get smacked for that.
Well,
Not even if it's just a few seconds, it don't matter.
no. So if people want to go see where you got smacked at, where they can go see your great channel?
YouTube
And again,
made me their daddy.
that's right. Say my name.
You can find me on YouTube and just search In My Head channel, and you can find me on Instagram and Twitter, searching those also. And if you're interested in joining my Patreon, which is a subscription service, you can get in on that as little as $5 a month to get behind the scenes stuff. We hang out, we do hangouts, and we do early access and stuff like that. You can get in on that as little as $5 a month, and that's patreon.com/In My Head.
And all that I'll be scrolling through here, and it'll be down in the description. I won't do ours. You can go look in the description down there, or rewind the video and say it again. But I'm looking forward to the road to Rosemont. If all things go according to plan, I feel like I've said this a couple times, but just with scheduling, the next video that you guys should be seeing in the audio is going to be our Road to Rosemont mini series. It's going to go over the next 6 months. I'm not sure. It's definitely going to be 6 episodes, but there could be some other ones if we like, you know what, let's do another one this month. And then it is going to branch out between all the other participants on the Road to Rosemont to give everybody out there our experience from the time that we're buying our tickets to the time the last confetti hits the floor. And I think the really cool thing, the end result, is all of us being all in one room together. I think it's gonna be really cool.
It's gonna be awesome. Yeah, I haven't made my video about me buying my tickets or anything yet, but I'm just gonna probably start on my channel with a kind of a video that that it begins with me buying my tickets, my thought process behind it and everything. And then I think where I'm going to butt that up in the same video up against a video with you and Xander discussing our origins of how we stumbled into loving this band so much, to the point where we will collect dolls. I call them action figures. My wife's like, they're dolls.
I don't think I can get mine. Mine's from the other generation. Of course, this is Eric.
Yeah,
but it's the only one I have. Well, actually, I have them.
Do you have any of the Mego dolls?
No, I'm on the lookout for, even if one is broken. But yeah, my wife says the same thing. She's like, "Why does your doll not have a shirt on?" It's like, it's an action figure. She's like, "No, it's a doll."
Figure. It's an action figure. Yeah, you should have saw the way my wife looked at me when I had Gene stripped down naked and was fixing his knee. She came in, she goes, "What are you doing here whenever you've got this door closed?" I'm like, "You don't want to know. I play with dolls."
That's why the camera is always off.
I stripped them down and I fixed their bum knees.
That's right.
So, yeah.
Well, that's where we're going to end it, folks. Thanks for watching Right Between the Eyes. Make sure you go check out Brant's channel. And we'll be back with the Road to Rosemont as my face gets bright white since I minimize the screen. We'll see you guys on the next recording. Take care.
See
Bye.
ya.